Welcome to newspaper analysis session for the July 14th. Topics that we are going to cover today. So we'll study again Nipah virus. There are increasing number of cases in the Kerala with this Nipah virus. We have already seen about this Nipah virus, and again we are going to revise this Nipah virus. Now this is again indication the rising number of cases. So there is a possibility that Nipah virus can be asked in the prelims or any upcoming state exam. This is one potential thing. Second thing, what way government is responding to the situation. As the cases are increasing, how the government is responding to this, how the government is dealing with this. So there can be a case study. They might tell you are the health officer in that particular district, and in this way cases are rising. Any kind of communicable disease, any kind of viral disease, so it is causing a kind of pandemic. So in that scenario, what you will do? So how would you answer? So for these questions to answer, we need to see what the governments are doing, what are the case studies that are available. So that way, this will give you the idea. So later on, when you appear in the interviews, so they may ask you, so if I put you in this case, so how will you deal with this situation where the cases are rising? So you need to have that idea. Okay, it's not just about the factual thing, what is a Nipah virus, RNA virus, family of virus, ELISA test, okay, RT-PCR, not just that factual alone. So you need to be also having idea about how you are going to deal with this situation. Okay, so that is the important thing of this thing. So then, if you remember, we have discussed about the desulfurization plants. Okay, we are talking about in the thermal power plants, we are talking about a technology which tries to eliminate the sulfur. I have discussed this thing. It is a very costly technology. So the companies are hesitant to include this thing, despite after so many years of notification. Now there is a kind of progress regarding this thing. They have mentioned something related to this thing. There is a advancement of this thing. So now this thing becomes very easy for us. We will try to recall the previous content also, and then we will try to answer this thing also. Okay. Now there is also state of inequality in the situation in India, and then another important thing is draft carbon rules for the industries in India. They have mentioned about the carbon credit rating system in India, and they have given some kind of rules for the various industries. So we will discuss about what is this carbon credit system. We have already discussed about this carbon credit system. So we will try to revise why this thing is important, what is this Paris target, and what are the INDC targets. So we will revise those things and with the recent update. So what is happening, what we are doing here is, when any recent update is coming, we are trying to revise the previous content. Previous content I have already given you the content notes, the base. So we will try to revise that one in the present context. This is how we are progressing. So every time the revision happens, things will sit in your mind on the daily basis and you will feel comfortable as we proceed. Then secularism, we have discussed it so many times. And then foreigners on the Bihar voter list, we have discussed about this special intense revision process of electoral rolls. We have seen this thing, and again there was some update on this thing. Okay, so we will try to revise all these things. Census will try to revise, and we will see various things. Chalo, we'll start. So Nipah virus. So why is this thing in the news? So what is the context here? The context is, see here, a fresh Nipah virus case was reported in the Palakkad district, Kerala. So new case was reported. So the deaths are increasing, and the number of districts where this Nipah virus is found, it is also increasing. So more number of districts are facing this problem of Nipah virus, and this is not any kind of small issue, and this can become a pandemic. See, if this is not controlled, this is considered by WHO as a kind of priority disease. Focus. See, WHO considers some of the diseases as very important diseases that has to be properly noted down, because these diseases, as they proceed, can become a pandemic in the future if they are not controlled. Because this virus can be transferred initially from the fruit bat to the humans, and then again it has potential to be transferred from the human to the human. Once I get infected, for suppose any family person, any friends have come to visit me, there is a potential to be transferred from human to human. So these things, if they cannot restricted, if they cannot be controlled, okay, this can rise. This has potential to become a kind of pandemic. Exponential rise can happen. Every person can get contaminated, and controlling this thing is very difficult. We do not have proper treatment, any vaccine for this Nipah virus. Only thing is, we will address the symptoms by providing the medicines. We do not We only address the symptoms, whatever the fever that you are getting, whatever the headaches you are getting, we will only provide the treatments for that aspect also. That's it. Okay, we are not actually treating the virus. We do not attack the virus here. Generally, in any of the time, whenever any virus attacks you, okay, we are basically treating the symptoms. We have antibiotics, but generally we don't have this antiviral medicines and all. Okay, primarily we have the antibiotics. So that's why, see here what they are doing. So that's why they are doing the contact tracing. Health authorities, what happens now? This is for your GS4. Now they may give you the case study how you will handle the situation if such a kind of outbreaks happen in your in your district. What you will do as a medical health officer. So now what they are doing, you just understand. See, whenever any problem is given to you, not just this problem, you entered into any business or you entered into administration at a state level, central level. So some problem has come to you. You need to see what has been done so far, what others are doing, what are the best practices. Then apart from this, whatever the challenges are there, what best you can bring. So based on those things, anything new you can add. So, but before you add anything new, you will study what has done so far, what has been done by any other countries, what are the best case studies. So those things you will study. In the same way, we are also doing the same thing here. So what they are doing, contact tracing. This is an important word. So contacts, they are tracing the contacts. Okay, now, so here sometimes they will also use the technology. For suppose during the time of the COVID, they used what is that app? Okay, they have used that app to trace. I forgot the name of the app. Okay, so they have used. You have to once you got the COVID, so you have to you need that app. You need to install that app, and no, not the COVID, not that app. There is a platform regarding your what vaccination you have taken up and all. So there, since the location will be on, and then based on your previous movements and patterns, it is easy to do the contact tracing. Okay, so I forgot the app name. In the same way, I am just saying that how the technology can be utilized. In one of the APPSC PYQ question, they have asked how the technology can be used in spreading this, in preventing this these diseases in becoming the pandemic. Okay, Arogya Setu. Yeah, that is the app. Okay, so districts will be kept on alert. Okay, then preparedness, a detailed contact list and route map where this person has moved. Okay, what routes he has taken. Okay, and everything will be taken care, and then surveillance will be done. Okay, and then awareness will be provided by releasing the proper public advisory. So these words, and again in the hospital, protocols will be provided so that whoever the patients are, whoever the people are visiting these patients, not the number should not be very high. Masks should be provided to them. So proper sanitary napkins, registry of the data. So like this, guidelines will be provided to the hospitals how this thing can be handled. Hospital protocols, all those things. So now remember these words, understand these words. Okay, how they are handling these kind of zoonotic diseases, how they are handling these viral diseases in becoming the pandemic. So you will get the clarity and you will be able to utilize these things. Public advisory, surveillance, hospital protocols, observation, and then preparedness, districts on the alert, contact tracing. These keywords has to be clear in your mind. Okay, then now we are studying about the factual thing, about the Nipah virus. Okay, so see here, it is basically RNA virus. It belongs to the family Paramyxoviridae, something Nipah virus. It is zoonotic transmission, means it is being transmitted from animal towards the humans, and again later on from humans to humans. Sometimes when you eat the contaminated food, that is affected. This basically transferred from the fruit bat to the humans. Now this fruit bat contaminates the food. Okay, for suppose any kind of fruit that got contaminated by this fruit bag because of its saliva or urine and all, without any sanitation and hygiene, this food got consumed by you or anything. So again you might get infected. This is also one of the way the disease is getting transferred. See here, animal to human. Okay, first initially it got recognized in the Malaysia. Sometimes UPSC also asks these kind of questions. First time where it got recognized. I have taken this thing from the WHO website itself. So that's why all the factual thing is very important. Initially recognized in the Malaysia in 1999 with the transmission occurring through direct contact with the infected pigs or their contaminated tissues. Then foodborne. In Bangladesh and India, the consumption of the fruits or the products like raw date palm juice contaminated with bad saliva or urine has been a significant source of infection. This is the scenario in India. In India, That's why Swachh Bharat initiative is very important. The cleanliness, hygiene. Okay, so street foods and all, without proper sanitation, without any hygiene and all, they are maintained. So this is also one of the prime concerns, especially in countries like India and Bangladesh. Okay, through infected animals, saliva and the urine, it is also getting transferred to the human, and again human to human. That's I have discussed. Okay, so these are the three prime concerns. Okay, the symptoms can range from fever, headache, muscle pain, vomiting, sore throat, and then drowsiness. Severe cases can lead to the encephalitis and the coma. Okay, so that is a part, and this has high death rates also. That is also important. So now, how this thing is diagnosed? RT-PCR and the ELISA are the two important two important ways for diagnosis. Diagnosis means identification. Okay, so if you have the disease or not, that is called the diagnosis. Okay, so you will visit the doctor. First, initially diagnosis will be done. What kind of problem you have, that is called the diagnosis. So what are the two tests used here? RT-PCR and the ELISA test. Okay. So see, sometimes they will ask you, write a short note on the Nipah virus. When they ask you short note on the Nipah virus, how will you write? What is the Nipah virus? Okay. And then how it is getting transferred. Then you will talk about the diagnosis. Then you will talk about if there is vaccine. Then you will talk about the treatment. So in this way, you will use the multiple dimensions, 4 or 5 dimensions. This is how you will approach the answer when they ask you, write a short note. So everything related to the Nipah virus is given here. So there are so many viral and bacterial diseases. We don't focus on everything, but those things are frequently that are appearing in the news. Between 10 to 20, we need to know. As we proceed, we will come across various things. Okay, we have also seen this muscle atrophy some time back, right? We have also seen about the cancer. We have also seen about the TB. We have seen about the liver fatty liver issues. So we have seen so far so many diseases. So like this, 15 to 20 diseases will become important, and then we have to consolidate those content.
So what are the symptoms?
So symptoms, this is what they have given. Okay. Okay, sore throat, dizziness. Okay, so the drowsiness, all those things. Okay, no specific viral treatment or vaccine is available. Okay, it is based on supportive care. Whatever the symptoms that you have got, okay, so that is called the support is being provided. See here, Nipah is identified as a priority disease. This is what I was talking about. Now, since it is a large point, do not consider it as a minor point and ignore it. Okay, if it is priority disease, so whenever any person comes to you with this problem, it has to be properly, the data has to be collected, and they have to maintain a standard response for this. Whatever the guidelines that has been released to the hospital, those guidelines has to be followed. Okay, you cannot ignore those guidelines, and this if you ignore those guidelines, then this disease might spread. That's what happening currently. From one district to it has spread to the other district. So you need to be careful about this thing. Clear about this? So Nipah virus. So next time when the Nipah virus comes, okay, any news comes about it, so I will be giving the same content about the Nipah virus, and I will be asking you to give me whether there is a vaccine, what are the symptoms, how it is diagnosed, and whether it is a DNA or RNA. So basically all the viruses are RNA viruses. So what is the family of virus? So these facts that you have to by heart. Next time when I ask you, you need to tell me. Now, Talisman Sabre. This is a military exercise. It happens biennial, means once in 2 years. Biennial military exercise. Here, usually it happens in Australia. Now, this time all the 4 Quad countries are participating. Tell me 4 Quad countries.
Australia, India,
Every country you are mentioning within the India.
India, Japan,
India, Japan,
Australia,
USA and these are the 4 major countries. Without USA, how will you form the grouping? Okay, we have discussed India, USA, Australia and Japan. Okay. It's like currently USA is the one leading nation. So you understand in a logic format. Why are we entering into the Quad grouping? Purpose behind the Quad? To control?
terrorism, oceans, maritime relations.
Who is the one that is controlling majorly? Which area? Which part of the ocean we want control? Australia, Japan is involved in which area? Which ocean? Pacific. Who is the one blocking the trade blocks? Yes. So when China is involved, so generally USA will be involved. Currently, we have told you, currently it is like emerging 2 poles, one USA and another China. So in order to control the China, we have formed a grouping. Now is this a formal grouping or informal grouping? Quad. I told you last time when we have discussed, it is an informal grouping. There is no secretariat. There is no written document. Okay, India do not consider it as a kind of military grouping. It is an informal. So I have told you, okay, when there was first time when there was a kind of disaster in the Indo-Pacific region, the countries came together to support the countries in the disaster management. So India sees this as a kind of grouping to support, facilitate the disaster management, economy and all. But main intention behind this is to maintain the peace and harmony in the Indo-Pacific region. It is a kind of anti-China in the India-Pacific, and that's why China opposes its group. So you need to understand this much. If you are confused what the Quad and all, that is a sin. Okay, this much of clarity you must have. You must. That must happen. Okay, or else it is a kind of insult to me. Okay, you are studying from me from last 2 months almost, and you are not able to answer. If someone asks you what is a Quad and you go blank, you are saying you are not even able to say USA. Okay, who is the faculty teaching you Quad? They are not able to. So that would be a kind of insult to me. Okay, some basic things, fundamental things which are most essential, that you should not make any kind of mistake. Clear? So next time Quad, no more doubts. Clear? So here we are discussing this exercise. This exercise is the prelims point of view. Talisman exercise where the Australia and other groupings are involved. Currently this grouping is going, India is also participating in this exercise, military exercise. So that's why here, because of this Quad countries, this block has become important. This military exercise has become important. Okay. So various military exercises. I remember last month I have given you various military exercises list that is taken by the India. Okay, with USA, with UK. So the lists have been provided to you. Okay, you need to go through that list again. So this list is this exercise is important because all the Quad groups are participating in it. More than 10 countries participate here. Okay, so basically it is a kind of military exercise. When some kind of threat happens, these countries will be able to cooperate. How to handle this thing, how to respond something. Okay, if what would be kind of communication between among ourselves in order to respond properly. This is the reason why we conduct the military exercises. Clear? So what is the exercise? Talisman Sabre. Okay, so you will say first point that you must remember here is biennial, once in 2 years, military exercises. All Quad countries is participating here. Those are the 4 important crucial points. Okay, now see here. Now let's just go through the map. See about the Australia. If you see in the Australia here, so look at all the territories of the Australia: Western Territory, Northern Territory. Okay, South Australia, Queensland is there in the east part. New South Wales is there. Okay, Victoria is there. So just get used to this thing. You get used to this territory. Okay, now if you can see here, Tasmania Island is also there. This is the exercise that we are going to cover, and here you have the Tasman Sea. If you can see here, Great Barrier Reef is there. Okay, basically reefs. Later on you will study in the geography. These reefs are the structures created because of the coral reefs. Okay, coral deposition. You will study various structures that were formed because of this coral polyps. Coral polyps are the sea animals. Okay, basically they are living in symbiotic relationship with another algae. Okay, so later on one day when they die, they deposit a calcareous structure and they become a rigid blocks like this, and they become the fringe reefs. Okay, this Great Barrier Reef, this is a very largest structure of Australia. Okay, that is present here, and not even the ships can enter here because it is like a kind of China wall. Okay, it is there in the entire east coast of the Australia. Okay, it is a very significant reef structure. Now, even with this rising global warming, climate change and all, this is a calcium. As the acidic nature of the ocean increases, this will dissolve. Okay, this will get dissolved in the carbonic water. As the temperatures rises, water will become more and more acidic. So these are getting dissolved. These are the areas where you have the huge biodiversity. So that will also disintegrate. Color will be lost because once the algae dies, color will be lost. Corals are receiving the colors because of this algae. Okay, so that is also happening. That is the different thing. Decolorization that is happening. Okay, so here the structure itself is getting destroyed. This is the point with the rising. What is the prime reason I have mentioned? Global warming is leading to the acidification of the ocean water. You need to remember acidification. Okay, with the rising global warming, there are more. There is more concentration of the carbon dioxide in the water, and then this is causing the acidification of the ocean water, and then this is causing the Great Barrier Reef to dissolve in the water. Clear so far? So this is not the news here. I have just, since here it is the context, I have have given content about the Great Barrier Reef. You need to see the Timor Sea. See here, there is Indonesia, and here you have the Papua New Guinea. Okay, so these locations, go through the map again and again. I want you to carry daily atlas to the class. Okay, it is very important that you carry the atlas and you need to go through the locations. Whenever I mention the locations, you need to open your atlas and you have to go through those things. Only when you do the mapping on daily basis, then only it will sit in your mind, or else it is not at all possible. State of inequality in India. See, we have inequality at the various 3 levels. See, consumption level inequality, income level inequality, and the wealth level inequality. So this is the fact that I will consider definitely. See, 1% of the population holds a 40% of the wealth. Wealth is different. Wealth and income, what is the difference between the wealth and the income? Very good. Accumulated one. Wealth is the accumulated one. Income is, that is a recurring. We are getting on there is a inequality of the income level and at the wealth level in India. This is a very big problem. It is not very easy to resolve. See, when we have the inequality at the wealth level or income level, it becomes very difficult for any kind of competition. If you want to do any kind of business, if you want to do any kind of thing, you will not have the resources with you. And minimizing this inequality becomes very difficult. And it is not good for the economy and the social development also. Few people will be having all the resources. For suppose if I am having all the resources, for suppose this is the class, okay, within the class I have the 90% of the money, you all have the 10% of the money. Now I have produced something, okay, let's say I have produced this pen and the chocolate. You guys do not have the money to buy this thing, okay, so ultimately I will also suffer. If there is whatever because of the efforts, whatever it is, there if I am earning more money, the gap should not be this much high. Okay, it can be 40, 60, 50, 40, 50, 50, that can be fine. But okay, 90, 10, such a level of huge inequality, it is very, very difficult. This can lead to a kind of fall of demand, recession in the economy, because no one is purchasing. Money is not there with the people. Whatever the money is there, it is present with me and I am the one producing. So ultimately, I will also lose out. This is economically, this is a problem. Socially, okay, people will take up the arms. You guys are suffering. On another side, I am living a rich and a luxurious life. This can breed tensions, social tensions, all those things. This is how the rebellions happened in your France. Okay, later on you will study the French Revolution. Okay, you will study this kind of American Revolution. But French Revolution is especially happened because of this thing. Whoever the kings, they are princes, they were living a luxurious life. People were suffering. There was inflation. This is the same thing that has happened. Okay, so then French Revolution. From there, you got the various philosophies like secularism, equality, rule of law. Okay, state should not have all the power. There should be democracy and all. Okay. Now, that's how that again, even in the present context, if the democracy has to be successful, there should not be this level of the inequality. How do they identify the inequality? So you need to have this clarity. Okay, so they will study this thing. What is that word? Gini coefficient. Okay, so Gini coefficient means there is a value which is basically used by various. See here, Gini coefficient. They will be used by various World Bank, Oxfam, all these things. They will use this Gini coefficient to identify the inequality, and then finally they will draw the curve. See here, this is called Lorenz curve. Gini coefficient is the data to identify the inequality. Lorenz curve is finally the curve which we draw to present the inequality. See this, if the line is very straight, then there is no inequality. See here, 20% of the population, this is a population, this is the income. 20% of the population is holding 20% of income, 40%, 40%, 100%, income. This is a perfect scenario. Now this is, the more the curvature, the more inequality there is. Now see here, this is the 40% of the household having only just 20% of the income. Now you able to understand? Okay. So you need to, whenever the question comes on the inequality, people will always draw the same circle diagram. Ding, 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 they will draw the sunlight kind of thing. No, not even the pie chart. Okay, so they will draw this diagram. Okay, I will show you. And this diagram, like this. Every question, this is the diagram they'll get. I will say, Yari, don't draw. Okay, no, sir. That particular sir, that topper told me draw the diagrams. Okay, I am also saying draw the diagram, but don't draw always this diagram. Okay, every question, this is only diagram I'll see, that sun. Okay, so I don't understand who has taught this. No one has taught this thing. They'll understand this way. You have the Lorentz curve to draw here. So you can show the inequality here. Why to use only these regular diagrams? You can use different diagrams. You have the bar charts, you have the pie charts. Diagrams are the way to break the monotonousness and to present the same thing in a different manner. Something you have written about the inequality. I have also presented this graph. Then this will enhance my presentation. Definitely the evaluator will give me extra half mark for the way I have presented the content. Okay, so that is the most important point that is needed. See, now can you guys just think what could be the reason? See, now the question will not be asked how much, okay, this is the article they are giving. Okay, so they have given about the data, yesterday's and Sunday's article. So this is not that important for us. Okay, I have just given about the debate. They have mentioned in India, this consumption related inequality is decreasing, but wealth and the income inequality is not decreasing. This is what the data article they are talking about. But this is not that important for us. Now you guys need to think, what are the reasons for the inequality in India? Can you guys tell me the reasons for the inequality? Based on the discussion so far we have, I'm not going to add content here. You guys need to tell me. Even in the comment section, students can also add reasons for the inequality in India. Tell me the economic reasons. That is the impact. Okay, so you tell me why the accumulation of wealth is happening. What is capital? Okay. So what happens with that?
So the wealth is getting accumulated.
Fine. Think I want you to add more, little more for that. Think more points. We have discussed so far so many points. Huh? Think points. You need to think. See, how do you think the points? We can discuss about the agriculture. We have discussed about the agriculture within the economy, manufacturing, service. You think on these lines. These are the things that are there in your syllabus. You think on the social front we have discussed. Okay, we have discussed about the various women-related things, child-related things, vulnerable sections. Now, how this thing is causing concentration of the wealth, you guys need to tell me. You need to think. There is no solution for this. If you don't think, good point. See, something you are able to put that much I need. See, there is a woman is being discriminated. We have discussed so many points regarding the women. There is a gender disparity. Yesterday also we have discussed about the rank, gender disparity, gender inequality index, where the India is scoring somewhere in the 130 or something, 138 something rank is there. We have seen this thing. So women are being paid low wages. So think in this way, more points, at least 5 points you will be able to, you need to think. That is there. So when you are not even getting the income, how can there be accumulation of the wealth? This is one of the reasons. See, awareness, corruption, skill is not there. All these are the general points that can anyway we can add. Okay, lack of corruption is there, policies and all. Okay, those points, when we do not have any points, in the end we can add after adding all the priority points. I am asking why there is inequality in India. What are the various causes of inequality? Income inequality, be it income inequality, be it a wealth inequality. Why there is such inequality? Anything you can say. You tell me. Think anything from this. You add. You can add anything, any point. That is there. See, we have discussed in the agriculture, what was the average income as per the NSS code, as per the NABARD, I have told you. What is the average income of agriculture? You are not focusing. I am getting distracted.
There aren't like more irrigation facilities in different areas.
See, as per the NSSO, the average income of agriculture is 10,000. In the service sector, the average income is more than that, 40-50,000. I have told you, this contributes to 55% to the GDP, and this contributes to the only 15 to 20%, but population is more than 50% dependent on it. And here, the population is somewhere 25%. Less amount of the population getting more money. Service sector, India is a service dominated economy. So in the service sector, less number of people are there. They are getting the good money. But in the majority of the people are there on the agriculture sector, they are not getting the good money. That is one prime reason. Next point, we have discussed so many things. Our industrial sector is not growing. It got stagnated. Majority of our labor intensive sectors are not growing. How do you provide the employment? So through this labor intensive industrial sector, but they are not growing. There is a huge unemployment. How the income inequality can be reduced? 2 points. Understood? Yes. Okay. Even within the farmers, 85% of the farmers are the small and the marginal farmers who have land of 1 or 1.5 hectares of the land. Small farmers, 85% of the farmers. Again, within their inequality, there is also regional inequality. For suppose in the Andhra Pradesh, Rayalaseema area is not that developed. In the Hyderabad area, Hyderabad is well developed while compared to the northern parts of Telangana like Adilabad. All those areas are not that developed. Regional backwardness. Okay. There are also some areas which are not getting resources. I am not giving content now. I am just trying to open up. Next time I will try to add the content. I want you to think on those lines. Okay. So geographical reasons are also there. Some areas are desert areas. There you don't have much resources. Very good. Lack of infrastructure. When you do not have the infrastructure, you will not get access to the resources. Whatever the support government is trying to provide you in terms of the PDS and all, so you are not able to utilize those things. Clear? Yes, that can cause unemployment. With adoption of the new technology, there was also an article saying that by 2030, now I'm going to take that article as well. There is a demand for the new technology. So the new technology will create the new jobs, but it will also displace the old jobs. So if there is no upskilling, this is going to cause unemployment. How many people are entering into the job market every year? I told you. 10 million. We have discussed 10 million is the number every year. This much of the youth are entering into the job market for the jobs. See, understand the competition you guys are facing. Okay, I have the job. Okay, you guys understand. 10 million people are entering into the job market. This is the competition you guys have. Okay, so now if you these youth, if they are not properly trained, you have mentioned training, skilling. Relevant training and relevant skilling is not there. Then again, this is causing lack of jobs and the inequality. Right? Clear? So there are still so many points. I'm just opening up only few threads so far, so that you guys think. You should not restrict yourself to only article. There is no questions are not going to just ask in the day, on the day Hindu editorial has come, the data, what is the data? No. They'll ask the analysis, reasoning behind that. Okay, I'm moving forward. Clear? So how the questions will be asked? Right? How we need to think as we proceed? We will do, but your mind at least should open. Okay, you should. The more you answer me, then I will be able to understand the students are progressing. Accordingly, I will be able to add more and more content from my end. Okay. So try to go through this curve again. Okay. So Lorentz curve and then Gini coefficient. Those things you need to understand. So see, census is going to happen. Okay, by 2027 they are going to cover the census and all. So there was an article they are talking about. So when they need to get the census data, they need to talk about this Jarawa tribe. They are present in the Andaman. We have discussed this in the Andaman area when we are discussing about the Great Andaman project. We have discussed this thing. Great Andaman project, 70,000 crore has been allotted. Okay, in order to make this area as a tourist spot. Okay, so sea lines will be developed here, airports will be developed, ports will be developed, roads will be developed. But here this area has so many PVTG, particularly vulnerable tribal groups are there. Andamanis, Nicobaris, Jarawa tribes, Sentinelese tribes, all these tribes are there. Now here, why they are in the news? Because when you are going to collect the data for the census, these people, they feel they are happy to be isolated. They don't interact with the people. They stay in the far forest area. They are like, leave us alone. We don't want any kind of interaction with any people. So how you take the information and all, this is a kind of quite challenging for them. Okay, this is the important aspect. Now for us here, it is important is, okay, see here, what are the PVTGs? This is the important thing for us. So you have asked yesterday, for me, what are the PVTGs, how the criteria is identified, pre-agriculture level of technology. All these 5 by heart. Whatever the fact I am telling you here, these are the subset of the scheduled tribes. These are the 5 criteria. Please by heart. Tomorrow itself again I'll ask you. 5 criteria: pre-agriculture level of technology, low level of literacy, economic background, distinctive culture, and small population. Their population is so low. Even Java population somewhere in 15,000 or something. Okay. After a few years, their population might decline to such a low level, and finally, they might go extinct. Okay. So we don't want any tribe to go extinct, any community to go extinct. It is very important for us. Clear what are PVTGs and the criteria of the PVTGs? PVTGs are within the tribal groups. These are the important vulnerable groups. This is a criteria. Just maintain these headings. Okay. Now, later on. So how many such PVTGs are there? 75. This is a very fundamental fact. How many PVTGs? 75. This was a very fundamental fact. Generally everywhere, every student will study. Now see the question here. Try to solve this question. So I am showing you how some questions are always easy in the UPSC. Now see, you do not know this thing. Okay? You do not know this thing. But you know this thing. There are 95 PVTGs. This was a fundamental thing. I am eliminating that thing. The third option is eliminated. Only statement that I have is 1, 2, 4. See, that's the point I am focusing. If your fundamentals are clear, for sure you will clear the prelims. We don't have to know all these things, but now we know. Irular and Konda Reddy tribes are also PVTGs. I don't have to remember all the 75. Now maybe I will read, because already the question is asked. Maybe next time they may ask little difficult. But same strategy applies to some other questions. So we need to be having clarity only about the fundamentals, basic things they will focus. Somehow you will be able to arrive at the answer. So don't assume that UPSC prelims is a difficult, easy thing, easy exam. Clear? Am I clear? Can I move forward? See, now the Indian environment, what is the context? The Indian Environment Ministry relaxed the sulfur dioxide emission control norms for the coal-fired power plants, exempting a significant number of them, installing the flue gas desulfurization technology. We have discussed, I think, 3 weeks back. Anyone remember about the flue gas desulfurization? This is costing somewhere 1 crore just to set up for the one, not even for the one thermal power plant. To reduce some amount of sulfur, it is costing 1 crore. No company has implemented it. Yeah. And the thermal power plants, coal power plants, to install this technology in order to reduce the emissions, sulfur dioxide emissions from this burning of the coal. Okay, that was in the news back then because no company is implementing them. We have huge amount of coal reserves with us. Now here, Environment Ministry given the exemption. Almost 80% of the companies, they don't have to implement this flue gas desulfurization technology. But the environmentalists are saying this is going to realize, they have conducted some kind of analysis, they have conducted a committee, and that committee report said the amount of emissions that gets released from the coal, the sulfur dioxide emission is not very huge. This is what said by the report, and they said no need to use this technology. So with this, our energy generation will become cheaper, or else if you have to implement this thing, so the price will be very high. Yeah, why you guys keep laughing, smiling in between? I am also getting distracted. Chalo, we'll start. Chalo, See, you guys only will lose the critical points in the class. Chalo, we'll start. Restart. So, government here is making sure that the cost of the energy is not high. If you implement this technology, the cost will go very high. So, we don't want the cost to rise for the energy, finally whatever the energy we produce. But environmentalists are saying this is going to cause problem. So, we are going to emit more and more sulfur dioxide. You are just taking care of the cost itself, but you are not taking care about the environment. This sulfur dioxide can react with the other gases and can release the secondary pollutants, especially PM 2.5. We have discussed about the PM 2.5, nerve damage. Okay, that we have also discussed about how this is causing the infertility issues in the young people. We have discussed this thing. So this is a secondary pollutant that is happening. Okay, reasons for the decision. Low ambient SO2 levels. This is what they said. Okay, and economic concerns, high cost. But criticism, misuse of the study. See, critics including the Center for Research of Energy and Clean Air argue that studies are selectively used to justify the decision. The studies are not fully account on the conversion of the SO2 to the PM 2.5, which is very harmful. This is what I said. So SO2 is leading to the PM 2.5. Now see here, you can also think the role of the NGOs and civil society here. Environmental bodies. Once the question asked, the role of the environmental bodies, role of the civil societies in the environment. Now see, this is how the government, see, these civil society and NGOs are adding technical information to the government. They are also adding good insights. They are providing the constructive feedback. 2 points we got here regarding NGOs and civil society. So here, now this case study can be used in the GS2, NGO as well as civil society. In the environment, direct question they may ask whether do we need desulfurization technology. I won't expect such a kind of narrow questions. Generally, they will ask very broad questions. Okay. So, we need to just understand this is like a raw material to us. Wherever it is important, we will use the content accordingly. Clear? Flue gas desulfurization technology. What is the criticism? Why the government has withdrawn? Clear? Everyone clear? See here, this is the criticism. This is what they have given the criticism. Now see, this was the article given in some business standard or something 2-3 months back. But for you, for the clarity purpose, I have even added this article. Okay, secondary pollutants means, see, primary pollutants means directly that is being released from the source. Secondary pollution means interaction is happening between the various pollutants and finally new pollutants are being released. These are called the secondary pollutants, such as ammonium sulfate, through the chemical reactions between the primary pollutants like sulfur dioxide and ammonia. Ammonia is released to your nitrogen fertilizers. Okay, that's why we were discussing about some days back green ammonia also. Green ammonia can be released from your green hydrogen. When we were discussing about the green hydrogen, I have discussed we can also utilize this green hydrogen for development of the green ammonia. Okay, because this nitrogen fertilizers are releasing the ammonia and this ammonia is really reacting with the sulfur dioxide to release the particulate matter, which is a secondary pollutant. Clear? See, everything I am only adding from the current affairs which are appearing in the news. Clear everything so far? See, more than 60% of SO2 emissions in India originate from these thermal power plants, coal power plants. Okay? But the prime reason according to me, which I feel is, this is going to increase the cost of our electricity. We generate 60% of our electricity through coal only. The rest of them through the natural gas, all the other remaining things, 60% comes through the coal. Remaining comes from the solar, wind and all. For us, coal is very important to create the jobs, to make us energy secure. It is very important. Now the cost of energy is increasing using because of the coal, then this is a problem to us. But what about the future? What about the environment? Sustainable development means future development should not get compromised. Okay, I have given flue gas desulfurization and all. So this is the thing. So this is the article I was talking about. Youth makes 83% of unemployment. See, currently in India, highest amount of unemployment is present in the youth only. 10 million people are every year coming out into the market. Now, whatever the curriculum that is being taught in the colleges and the schools, it is same thing. Okay, when my parents were studying and when I was studying and when you guys have studied, it is the same curriculum. Okay, in the BTech and all, everything. No change. So now the technology is changing, AI is coming up. So we need revision. So we need new innovations. So that there should be opportunities like learning while studying. Okay, there need not be a kind of total division between the arts and the science. There should be proper kind of harmony. People can choose 2 subjects of the science and 2 subjects of the arts. This is what given in the new education policy. We need activity-based learning. So people do not understand its application. They will do the rote learning, by hearting. So you need to understand the concepts behind that. Then only it will generate the interest. Okay, see the competition. That's what you need to be aware of. Okay, see here. So this is talking about the same thing. Despite the economic process, nearly 80% of the employment remains informal. We have discussed this thing. Contract-based employees, informal employment, lack of social security, lack of standards to them. Okay, this thing also we have discussed in some other context. So we need the changes in this. See, a projection suggests very important factual thing. 170 million new jobs by 2030, but 92 existing jobs will be gone. So that's why skilling is very important. You need to continuously upskill. Now currently you are getting upskilled. You are learning new content. You should feel happy. Whenever you are learning new content, new skill, you should feel happy. Okay, I have learned something. There should not be any kind of stagnation. For me also, even for me, now at this stage, I have learned all the content related to UPSC. I need to upskill, or else I am gone. Okay, so I need to upskill how the new technology is coming into the market, any new extra things and all. So that is required for the person, every individual, continuously they have to learn. Whenever the upskilling stops, that's it, that person is gone. Okay, they become irrelevant in the market. Okay, so I will continuously study, I will keep studying every time. The same way you guys also need to study. Only like say what the Darwin has said. Survival of fittest. Okay, there is competition, that is harsh truth. Only when you are fit enough, when you are having the good capabilities with you, then only you will be able to survive. Or else everything is gone. Okay, still you guys are very young, you have not seen the world outside, you have not seen the life. No one will stand with you. Okay, if you do not have the necessary resource, financial strength with you. Okay, everything will be okay on the peripheries only. Okay, so you have to be make sure that okay, I'm not financially dependent on anyone. Okay, this much of assurity we should have. After that, like I said previously, we should not feel scared, nervous. Take risk. Nothing is going to happen. Some financial security. Trust. Everyone will die. Whatever you do, no one will remember. Okay, so do what is giving you joy. That should happen. So for this to happen, see here, that's what you have said. Education and the training. Industry, academia linkages. Now further to happen. So how do you provide the training? For suppose I am the industry. Let's say I am the Infosys company, I am the TCS company. But in your college, they are teaching something which is irrelevant. There is no linkages. So for suppose you are teaching in your college which is not relevant for my job. Again, I have to hire your students and again I have to train them, which is costing me huge. So that linkage should be established. Industry, academia. So you will train the people which is relevant for me. Okay, that is most important. You need to revise the curriculum accordingly. That is the most important thing. Expand the international focus. Okay, so this is the thing. You need to see what other institutes are trying. Previously, we have seen in India, we do not have the best universities. In the global top university rankings, no university is present in India within the 100. I think our IIT, which one, Mumbai or something, it has come in 124 or 140. Global world university rankings, top rankings. Because we do not have a kind of interlinkages with world universities, what they are teaching. Our faculties are also not involved in the research. Whoever the professors are there, they should be involved in the research. Then they should be able to teach. That is not there. Okay, so this way you can increase the quality of the teaching, and of course you will improve the employability. For suppose in India you do not have the jobs, you can export the human resource. You can make sure you can like say we have discussed someday previously. China required some few million jobs, 20 million jobs, something on the AI. We have discussed this thing few weeks back. If you are skilled enough, you can go and work in the China, USA, Europe, not in India. If you have the skill, anywhere, you will be acceptable. So this is the point I am trying to add. Clear everyone? Understanding the ordinary resident, very small article, just I am going very fast forward here, in a fast way. Basically, this is the article talking about, so now for suppose, you are in the Ashok Nagar. Here, you are here for the temporary basis. Now, you cannot vote in this constituency, whichever the Hyderabad constituency, you will not be able to get the voting right. For suppose from whichever the native place you have come, there you are the permanent residency. You have come here for the temporary basis. So that has to be checked. Where you belong actually. Temporary movement. Now you have moved from your location to here. You are not going to stay here permanently. You will go back to your location. This should not change your voting status there. This is the what article is talking about. So where actually the person is original resident. Where actually is there, their status should not be lost. Generally this is happening for the migrant workers. They are not able to vote properly. Okay, this is what the scenario is that has to change. Now here also again the provision. Under the section 20 of the Representation of the People's Act 1950. We have seen how the elections are like voting list, electoral roll that comes under the Representation of the People Act 1950, procedures and all 1951. We have seen this RP Act 1950, RP Act 1951. Only two things in which a person's voting, the person will not be allowed to vote. Okay, generally if you are unsound mind and if you are not 18 years of age, or if you are doing any kind of criminal activities, the third activity will be there where you can be kept out from the voting. So even NRIs, even if your friends or family, anyone living outside India, basically whichever the area the permanent residency status is, they can come there and they can register. But the thing is, who will come from USA to come here and vote here? In the same way, see now, for suppose elections are happening in the Hyderabad. From somehow from here you went to some other area. Maybe for studies purpose, you have went to the West Bengal or and all. Holiday is provided in the Hyderabad, but not in the West Bengal state, right? In the Telangana, the holiday has been provided, but not in the West Bengal where you are living. So how can you come from there to here when there is no holiday? These are the certain challenges the migrants will face. You cannot vote online. So there should be some kind of mechanism should be identified so that NRIs to vote, migrant workers to vote. Okay? Still is going on because if it is kept online, it can be misused easily. So they are trying to figure out a way how this can be balanced. Right? Clear? Very important topic actually. So now why the Election Commission is revising this electoral roll? Because we have seen Election Commission is revising the electoral roll, right? So why they are doing? The Election Commission has said there are so many foreigners present on the electoral rolls. So it is very important, and that process has to be taken in the India wide, not just the Bihar. We need to conduct this process India wide, and opposition party is saying no, fake. Okay. So there should be always constructive criticism. Okay. So if this is happening, really there is a need for intensive revision process. We have already seen this thing in detail, right? Remember those things? You go back and you need to revise that process again. Okay. Secularism. One line. Secularism. What is this? Forget about India. Tell me what is secularism. State do not have religion. Not just equidistance. Okay, you can say state do not have any religion. State is neutral. State is neutral. State does not have any kind of religion. Currently debate is that is the one principal distance that is being adopted by the India. In some Western countries like France and other countries, state will not interfere in a religious matter. You do whatever you want. Here, India will interfere because here people are anything they can do in the name of the religion. What are the three grounds I have told you? Public order, morality, health. On these three grounds, state can interfere. Okay, this is the secularism model of the India. This was initially it was not there under the preamble. It was added through which amendment? 42nd Constitutional Amendment has added it in the Constitution. Okay, so now the debate is we should remove that thing. If we remove this thing, this is going to cause problem, unnecessary kind of fear in the minorities. Some group of people say this secularism, it is a kind of this concept is being used so that to provide unfair benefits to some minority communities. This is a kind of counter criticism by some people. Okay, so that's why they say we need to remove the word of the secularism. But this is a basic structure as per the Supreme Court, which has been mentioned in the Keshwananda Bharati. Basic structure as a concept which was evolved by the Supreme Court. It is not defined what all comes out of the basic structure. It has given the broad parameters. Okay, so if it is a basic structure, you cannot change that thing. This is a fundamental thing of the Constitution. And it was not just introduced during the time of the constitution, even in the Ashoka Dhamma, okay, which was very old, BC time period, Ashoka. Okay, even there we are talking about the secularism. That's what we are saying about. See here, now these views, these are important when they are in the GS4 and all. John Locke, a letter concerning toleration. Locke argued that state's role is limited to the civil interest, while religion concerns the inward persuasion to the mind. This is what? This is internal matter. Even within your social sphere, for suppose in India, generally two people living together, they will pray different gods. Even within the Hinduism, their favorite god might be one, another favorite god might be one. Okay, even within the core thing of India, even if you are practicing Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, there should not be any kind of tussle actually in India. This is the main essence. In India, there is huge amount of tolerance. You do yours, I will do mine. Whatever you do, we respect. We don't interfere in ours. This is the major essence. So people will be able to live in fraternity. That is getting disturbed. Now, no, mine is best. Okay, this is a kind of sense of identity. Okay, if I am following something, if my number is going down, that can breed insecurity. So every community is trying to enforce this is the best. The number has to increase because it is linked with any power as well, political manifestations as well. Okay, so we have to come back to the basic form of the secularism which is there in India. Now this article says that debate is irrelevant. This is there from the history as well. You can at max adopt this jurisdiction model of the secularism where, for suppose in British, church is recognized. Church as recognized as a major dominant role in the British. In the same way, Hindu culture can be recognized, but state should not have any kind of religion. That is what the article says. Okay. See here, some countries recognize a dominant or official religion, but ensure equal rights and religious freedom for all the religions. The same way, if it is required, you can do it in India without kind of causing any kind of problem for the other religious group. That's what they are trying to communicate. Okay, let me come back to that thing later on. Now see, carbon credit mechanism. Okay, so government has come up with some kind of carbon credit rules for the different industries. So every industry has been given some kind of targets. How much amount of carbon that can be released from different industrial groups. This is a carbon rating. Okay, for suppose if I am given a target of 100 units, I released only 50. Remaining 50, I can sell it to the other industry and I can get the certificate. I get the money. Okay, so I have been given target of 100. I released only 50. Remaining 50, I can sell to the person who has underperformed. They can purchase that 50 from me and I will get the money. And they have to pay. Polluter pay principle. So in this way, it is a kind of win-win situation for both. In this way, India will be able to achieve its commitments given under the INDC. So government has come up with the various rules for various industries. It has given the targets. Now these things will be looked by the Bureau of Energy and Efficiency under the Energy Conservation Act. We have also seen about this Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Okay, it is a statutory body under the Energy Conservation Act. Okay.
But how is it measured? How is it measured?
They will have mechanisms. That's what they have given. Okay, for every industry, so they will check using the technology how much carbon is getting released, and they based on the criteria, they will see whether they are overachieving or underachieving, and they will release the certifications. How exactly technology and all, that is not relevant for us. They will check. They will use some technology. Okay, then finally they will identify it. Okay, so Bureau of Energy Efficiency will calculate these targets and they will see the thing. Now here, this is the carbon grid. Whatever the thing I have explained, that is there. Now here you need to. This is important for us because of the India's goals that we have. So Paris Agreement. This is the agreement we have signed in the 2015. As per this agreement, we want to make sure that warming is not crossing beyond 2 degrees centigrade. Global warming is not rising beyond 2 degrees centigrade. We want to make sure that we are restricting itself to the 1.5 degrees centigrade itself. Okay, I have given you the features of the Paris Agreement by heart it. No if and buts in this. What is Paris Agreement? Features of Paris Agreement by heart it 100%. Then what are the INDC targets of India? These were the targets that were given 33 to 35% of emission intensity. Whatever the carbon dioxide we are releasing, its intensity will be reduced by 33 to 35%. Renewable energy will be reduced to the 40%. Carbon sink will be increased. Carbon sink is more afforestation. With this, carbon will be captured. Okay. Adaptation and resilience. In 26, COP 26, we have further enhanced this thing. Commitments are enhanced. I want you to by heart it. Okay, tomorrow I will again ask you those target. Accordingly, we have released the rules, and as per the rules, government has there are few people are saying that rules might create confusion and all, might not be effective and all. That much of analysis is not important for us. Okay, the editorial has given on that thing. Okay. So there was one article talking about the recognizing open ecosystems in India. See, some of the desert areas, they are considered as a kind of wastelands. The article says this is a terminology given by the colonial countries. Desert is a kind of special ecosystem. Great Indian bustard is there, various variety vegetation is there. Even in the deserts, you have unique vegetation. You cannot consider as a kind of wasteland. You can take a measures to make even the desert areas develop in the sustainable format. So you cannot call it as a kind of wastelands. Okay, this is what it's said in this article. So just I have told you. Okay, so even these things here. Okay, here important tribal communities also live here. Okay, Great Indian bustard, Indian wolf is there, Dhangar, Rabari, Kuruba. So many local people also live here. Okay, so important vegetation is living here. So land is planning. Desert area management is a kind of management where you will make sure that area is taken care in a sustainable format. So you cannot consider that area as a wasteland. You handle that thing in a sustainable manner. Very good. Yeah, it has its unique vegetation. It has its unique biodiversity, and also the populations are dependent on them. Nothing knows what is a waste. Okay, nature has its own benefits. This is what is being said. Okay, today I have given you some tasks. What is the task? One thing is Paris, COP 21, and I have also asked you to by heart something else. Apart from the INDC, PVTGs, criteria, PVTGs of the criteria. Okay, apart from this, what did I ask to by heart? I want you to think how the inequality can be increased, and then, okay, remember this thing, Nipah virus also you need to by heart. Okay, so I'll ask tomorrow again. Okay, you need to answer me tomorrow these things. All the three. Okay, that's it. Thank you.